Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing? Can everybody hear me? Can everybody see me? We are, and welcome to another edition of Cambly Live Classes. Now, my microphone is right here, so you should be able to hear me. You should be able to see me. If there's any problem, let me know. But in the meantime, how are you guys? It's a pleasure to see you. It's great to hear from you again. I see some regulars, Kalipan, of course. Hello, Kalipan. Um, I see some new students. Tell me, where are you guys from? I see some people from Pakistan, from Sweden, from Japan. Aha. Firdus from Sweden, right? Wais from Pakistan. Oh, excellent, excellent. Very good. Very, very, very good. So, we're going to start in a few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes, but I just want to make sure that everyone can hear me and everyone can see me well. So very good. Now, by the way, as we all know, we want to do a quick check. Can you guys see this? Is it the right way? Because sometimes YouTube flips it. Is it the right way? If it is, give me a thumbs up just to make sure. And if not, I'll flip the camera. Okay, it's flipped. 1 second. That should fix it. All right, you should see it correctly now, right? Yeah, for some reason, YouTube always flips the camera, and all obviously that creates this little glitch. But now you can see it, right? Thumbs up. Very good. Very, very good. All right. So, like I was saying, guys, sorry for interrupting. I see some people from Bangladesh. I see some people from Yemen, from Russia. Hello, Yan. Welcome. I see Stacy from South Korea, somebody from Morocco, from Sri Lanka, of course, Kalipan. Excellent, excellent, guys. How are you? How are you in this sunny, happy morning? How is everybody doing? Oh, I'm missing a ring. Hmm. Anyway, good. Takuya, excellent. Going well. Somebody from Bangladesh as well. That's awesome. Yan says, I'm always funny. Maybe he means I'm always good or I'm always happy. So excellent. So, guys, are you ready to start our class? Today, we are going to talk about something super, super important. We are going to talk about bad habits while learning English. Okay. Maybe you have some bad habits. Maybe your friends have some bad habits, but we have to talk about bad habits while learning English because so many students have bad habits when they're learning English. And unfortunately, this prevents us from getting a really good level. Okay. So we're going to start 1 minute. Excellent. Rabi from Bangladesh. Excellent to meet you, Rabi. And we are going to study bad habits in English learning. Yeah. So, by the way, guys, if you have any questions about English, don't worry. I will be able to answer your questions in a moment. We're going to have a short segment for questions, and I'll try to answer as much as I can to try and help you with any questions you have that are about the topic or that are related to the topic. And if not, you can, of course, request another topic. You can tell me, hey, I want to learn about this. I want to learn about engineering or fluency or grammar, whatever topic you want. You can request it and we can plan it and we can definitely make that happen. All right. But in the meantime, we are going to study bad habits while learning English. Okay. I'll present myself. My name is Cuau. I have been a tutor on Cambly for a few years now. I really love it. And I am an English teacher from New York. I grew up in the Bronx and I have teaching for many, many years of my life. It has been quite a journey. But like I said, I really love it. It has been my main occupation for several years. And we're going to dig right in. Like I said, my name is Cuau. You can see that in the title, or I'm going to write my name as long as my keyboard works. One moment. and you can just search for me on Cambly. You can search for me. You can actually just Google me, and that and my Cambly profile will appear right away. All right, that's my name. And like I said, I am on Cambly, so you can actually take classes with me for any subject that you need. All right, I specialize in advanced teaching, but you can, of course, take classes with me. All right, Juliet, excellent. Aurora Maria, from London, Canada. London is a city in Canada, I imagine. Alba from Brazil, excellent. So let's get started, you guys. We are going to talk about bad habits when learning English. What do you guys think is a bad habit people have when learning English? What do you guys think? Okay. Tell me, do you have some bad habits? Do you uh, imagine some bad habits that people have when learning English? Because, of course, a lot of people have a lot of bad habits. I think my volume should be better there. Okay. Procrastination, says Yan. Definitely. It is a bad habit. Only learning words. Okay. So maybe just focusing on vocabulary. Yeah, those are really bad habits. But I think one of the most common ones that I want to talk about is this one. What do you guys think? Now, I know it's surprising. Do you think this is a bad habit? What do you think? Do you use it? Is it a bad habit, or am I just tricking you? What do you think? Because a lot of people use this to learn English. But why am I saying it's a bad habit? Like I said, do you guys agree? Do you guys think I'm tricking you? Or why am I saying that podcasts are a bad habit for learning English? Tell me, guys. I'm going to give you a few seconds to try to answer. But yeah, in my opinion, podcasts are usually not a good option for learning English. Let me tell you why. All right. The main reason is because of something that we call passive learning. Okay. Put this over here. All right. So, what do I mean by passive learning? Passive learning is what a lot of people think they will do. Okay. Many people think that by having contact with something, you will learn it. And unfortunately, that's not always true. We can, of course, learn passively in some situations. For example, we can absorb some habits, we can absorb some cues, some cultural traditions, or small things like that. We can definitely absorb with passive learning. Passive learning means that you're not really focused on the task that you're doing, and you're sort of absorbing and learning information without really making an effort. So, a lot of people think that passive learning is really good. And the way that people do that is with podcasts, right? They say, hey, I'm going to drive to work, I'm going to drive home, I'm going to spend some time in the park, I'm going to do some exercise. And while I'm doing that, I am going to listen to a podcast. Now, like our friends Awais and Tony are saying, active learning is necessary. You don't, when you're listening to a podcast, you're usually not really engaging with it. Okay. You're not speaking, of course, you're not practicing it. And very frequently, I find that you're not paying attention. Okay. Many students actually realize that after a few hours or minutes, they sort of understand the general idea of the podcast, but they're not really learning anything new. And here's the trick. When you're studying something, you should dedicate some time to active learning. Okay. Uh, Nomu says, because there seems no objective, there's just listening. Exactly. Yeah, you're just picking up things by osmosis. And that's not so effective. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying that all podcasts are bad, but you have to be very careful with how you use them. Because, like I said, a lot of people think that just by listening passively, you're going to learn. And that's not true. Let me put it this way. Imagine it's Saturday or it's Sunday, you're relaxed and you're making breakfast, you're cooking. I don't know what you like to eat for breakfast. Maybe you like to make pancakes, maybe you like to make eggs, or maybe you have something completely different, right? So you're cooking, you're really enjoying yourself, and you're listening to a podcast. Now, a lot of people would think that's good, right? Yeah, it's good if you're entertaining yourself. It's good for having fun, but it's not good for studying. It's usually not a very effective way to absorb knowledge. While you're driving, you have to pay attention to the road, to the cars. You have to be careful. You have to be responsible. So obviously, you shouldn't be paying so much attention to what you're listening on the radio or in a podcast or in your music. Your main attention should be in when you're cooking, when you're driving, when you're walking, when you're doing whatever activity you want. And because of that, passive learning through podcasts is a really, really bad idea. I do not recommend it. Okay. Podcasts are not good for studying, for learning. They can be good for some types of practice, but usually not much learning unless you're actively listening to the podcast, unless you're really paying attention and you're really devoting energy to learning and listening to what they're saying. Okay. There are some English podcasts or book reading podcasts or things like that. And those are good if you're going to pay attention. Okay. So, what do you guys think? Do you listen to podcasts to learn English? Do you listen to podcasts to practice? How do you guys use podcasts? Do you agree that it's a bad habit? What do you think? Because that is just going to connect with one of our other bad habits. All right. So, tell me, you guys, do you agree with this or not? Now, in the meantime, our other really bad habit, really bad habit, shadowing. Now, again, a lot of people recommend shadowing. A lot of people say that shadowing is very good. So why am I saying shadowing is a bad habit? What do you guys think? Is shadowing good? Is shadowing bad? Tell me, you guys. What do you guys think about shadowing and repetition? Is it a good habit or is it a bad habit? So I'm going to explain. Repetition and shadowing. Repetition and shadowing are one of the most common strategies to learn any language. Okay. And when we're babies, when we're young, that is actually one of the main aspects that we need to do to acquire a language. So, why is it a bad habit? Well, I'm not saying you should never do it. Repetition and shadowing are bad habits if you do them incorrectly or for the wrong kind of topic. So, let me explain a little bit more. If you want to improve certain things like pronunciation, fluency, listening, or vocabulary, repetition and shadowing are excellent strategies, but you have to be focused on a specific topic. For example, linking words, or how to pronounce the R, or how to pronounce your vowels, or how to say things like that. Shadowing a movie, shadowing a podcast, shadowing another person can be great if you're stuck and if you have trouble pronouncing or saying a couple of phrases or words. With shadowing, with this kind of strategy, you can actually improve a lot. Okay. By the way, do you guys understand what I mean by shadowing and repetition? If you don't know what shadowing is, please tell me and I'll explain. Okay. But yeah, this is an issue if you don't do it for the right thing. Unfortunately, a lot of people think that this is the only strategy that you should use to learn English. And that's not true. That's not correct, unfortunately. to learn English, you have to use a lot of different strategies to make sure that you actually learn everything. So someone says, no, they don't know what shadowing is. What is shadowing? Okay. Shadowing is a very common strategy. When somebody is speaking in a movie and or in a podcast on the radio, when you hear somebody speaking and you repeat them, you repeat what they say, that is shadowing. Okay. So, you know how when your hand moves, there's a shadow behind you? It's because you're doing exactly the same thing. Your shadow is copying you. Your shadow does the same thing. So when you're shadowing, it means that you want to copy what the other person does. Okay. So because of that, you are trying to copy, you are trying to repeat what the other person is doing. That is shadowing. Okay. Do you understand it, guys? Is it clear what shadowing is? I think it's a little clearer, right? So um, that's what we're talking about. Shadowing can be a very good thing, but it can also be a very bad thing if you do it for the wrong elements, the wrong information. Okay. I know that some people do something that's very bad because a lot of people learn through shadowing. They end up doing something that's called parroting. Okay. And parroting is actually a very, 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 very bad habit. Parroting is when you don't really understand what you're saying, but you still repeat it. Have you ever done this? Have you ever watched a movie or uh, seen a show on Netflix, maybe, or on the internet, and you hear them and they sound nice, they sound cool, maybe because they're native English speakers, and you want to sound like them. So you repeat their phrases. And I have seen a lot of students doing this. They repeat the whole phrase, but they don't really understand what it means or how to use it. I think it's very common with words like man or dude. Okay. When in a movie you see somebody saying, hey man, or hey dude, you think that's the way native people speak, right? You think, oh, if I want to sound native, I should say man at the end of a sentence. Like, I'm eating my lunch, man. And if you hear that in the movie, maybe you think, ah, that's correct. That's good. Now, I'm not saying it's always bad, but the problem is a lot of people don't know how to use it. So you're just repeating things that you don't know. You're repeating things that are not clear. And because of that, people repeat things that don't sound so well in other contexts, right? They actually sound really bad or a little inappropriate and weird, right? For example, if you go to your boss and you say, I'm having lunch, man, that's going to sound inappropriate. It's very informal. So don't repeat things just because you want to sound better. Shadowing is a good strategy, but make sure you know what you're saying. Make sure that when you're shadowing, you have a specific objective, like learning pronunciation, like learning a specific expression, like learning the way to say specific things. For that, shadowing and repetition are amazing. But for other things, like for learning phrases, I wouldn't recommend it. Okay. Hello, Binazir. Hello, Nana. Um, is there a special moment about for one-on-one lessons? Yes, Nana. If you want one-on-one lessons, you can actually sign up to Cambly. And that reminds me, I will actually be giving you a promo code at the end of this lesson so you can take a one-on-one class with Cambly tutors for a much, much lower price. It is, I believe, up to 36% off on your plan. So with that promo code, you're going to be able to sign up on Cambly and have a class with someone like me or any other tutor you want. All right. And that way, of course, you will learn English so much more and so much more effectively. All right. Now, Repetition and shadowing. That brings me to the other topic, the other very, 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 very bad topic. Lists and memory. So why do I say lists and memory? Tell me, you guys, have you ever tried to memorize a list of English vocabulary? For example, a list of things you can say in your job, or a list of things that, a list of words related to engineering, or a list of words related to a certain thing. Have you ever tried to memorize a list of English vocabulary or of English grammar? What do you think, guys? Have you ever tried? All right, that's actually very interesting. Stacy says, yes, I have tried. So I'm sorry to say, Stacy, that's not such a good idea. Mhm. It is not so effective, unfortunately. Okay? Because when you're trying to memorize a list, there's a lot of effort in your brain, and it's not always so good. A lot of people, they take my class and they say, hey, Cuau, I want to learn 100 verbs or 100 nouns. And every day I memorize 10 words, right? Or they will say, every day I read a list of 50 new English words and I'm going to memorize them. Now, Stacy, you tried. Yan, you tried. 8, you tried. So you tried, but was it easy? Now, think of those lists. Do you use them frequently? I'm not saying one word. Do you use the whole list in your vocabulary? Tell me, you guys. Tell me, Stacy. Do you actually remember the whole list? Because that's the key of the problem. When people are more focused on learning a number, they don't really remember the information. Our friend says, it is difficult to memorize 10 words. Yeah, it is. It's really difficult to memorize a large amount of words. Yan says, I don't remember them and don't use them. Exactly. So there are some things that you do have to memorize, but they're not so many. And the biggest thing is they're usually not lists. They're usually really clear, simple elements. For example, you have to know what a verb is. Yeah, you have to know that. You have to memorize that. But that's only one thing. It's not a big list of things. Stacy says, no, I forgot most of the words. Exactly. You see? So memorizing lists is not so effective. You can use your memory to try to keep some information, but you shouldn't try to memorize whole lists. And I always tell my students, learning or trying to remember a large amount of words doesn't mean you're going to use it. It's really ineffective. You're spending a lot of energy trying to memorize something that you're probably not going to use. Instead of memorizing a long list, try to think of some words that you use frequently and make a big effort to learn them well. All right? If you learn those words well, if you memorize that list of words you actually use, instead of worrying about 10 verbs a day and 20 adjectives a day and 50 nouns a week, it's going to be much better. All right? You don't have to spend so much time trying to memorize random things that you're not going to use. Do not memorize lists. All right? Lists are not good. Try to remember basic things and things that you really use often. Okay? And that brings us to the most, I think, one of the most important things. People are not learning the basics. Okay? Unfortunately, people usually don't study the basics enough. Okay? In English, help me out, you guys. What are the basics? What are the basics of English? What are some things that you have to learn, that you have to study, that are super basic and super necessary for learning English? What do you think, you guys? Grammar, grammar. Okay. All right. What else? What do you guys think? Tenses. Okay. Good. Tenses. What else? Any other basics that we should learn, you guys? Tell me, you guys, what do you think is the most important? Wilson says grammar. Ku says the four skills. Yusuke says positive attitude, mindset, pronunciation, grammar. Nana says pronunciation. Takuya also says pronunciation. So we have a lot of people saying grammar and pronunciation. Firdaus says the structure of building sentences, and Motohiko says syntax, which is basically the same thing. Okay, we're going to talk about that in a moment. But in English, there are some basic rules that you always have to remember. All right. Now, they can be pronunciation, they can be some verbs, they can be some expressions. And unfortunately, so many people forget them. For example, something very basic is the verb to be, right? You know what the verb to be is, right? Tell me. Use a sentence, or help me, guys. Make a sentence and write it in the chat using the verb to be. All right? Make a sentence with the verb to be. Help me, you guys. Because I think that we will see that it's not always so simple. Okay? He is a clever boy. Firdaus, thank you. Very good. Firdaus is a clever boy. Thank you. What other sentences can we make, guys? Tell me, help me. I am watching the class. Luan, thank you. How are you, tutor? She is a student. Okay, good. You see? Simple sentences, but I'm not getting so many answers. Okay, Benazir says, we are listening right now. Good. Now, until now, there haven't been any, let's say, big mistakes or any relevant corrections. All of your sentences are really good, but I want you to be honest with me. Have you ever made a mistake with the verb to be? When you're speaking English, when you're in a meeting, when you're traveling, or maybe when you see a tourist in your country and you're trying to help them. Have you made a mistake with the verb to be? Maybe you said, oh, we is happy to see you, or he are very happy, right? He says yes. Firdaus says yes. Wilson, he is a hardworking boy, right? Yeah. So good, guys. You see, Stacy says yes. Most of you are saying yes. That's exactly the point. If you're still making small mistakes, with the verb to be, you don't need to learn 10 more verbs. You need to practice the verb to be, right? Firdaus says, but we concentrate more when we write. Of course. Yes, of course. Writing is usually a lot easier than speaking. But I think that actually proves my point even more. I think it shows that it's even more important. Because if it's simple, you shouldn't make a mistake, even if you're doing it, with even if it's not writing. For example, I imagine that some of you guys drive. Some of you guys drive a car or maybe a motorcycle, maybe to go to work, right? Yeah. Should you make mistakes? Not really. I understand people can make mistakes and mistakes happen. But obviously, if you're driving and you make a mistake, it's dangerous. You could have a small accident or a big accident. So you have to practice driving so much that you don't make so many mistakes, right? You should know how to turn on the car or how to move your motorcycle or your bicycle. You can't fall off or you can't stop in the middle of the road. Those are mistakes that would be very dangerous. So you have to practice driving, walking, doing a lot of things until you don't make mistakes. And it's the same thing with the verb to be. Yes, writing is easier, but because it's such a basic verb, you should not, ideally, you should not make so many mistakes even when you're speaking. Now, it's no problem. If you make a mistake, it's fine. Nobody's going to have get hurt or anything like that. It's just a small grammar mistake. But if you're still making mistakes when you speak with simple verbs, simple tenses, it means you still have to practice the basics. Unfortunately, a lot of people do it, right? Lenny Andra, I think, says everybody does it. Exactly. So if you're still making mistakes, it means you still need to review this. It depends on what you're making the mistakes. If you're making a mistake with the verb to be, review the verb to be. If you're making mistakes with singulars and plurals, review singulars and plurals. So what do you guys think? Any questions there until now? Is everybody with me? Do you guys understand? Do you guys agree? What do you guys think up until this point? Okay, Fido says I agree. Alan says the tenses of the verbs. Okay. What else you guys you want to say? Unerkis says I need more practice. Of course, Unerkis, and that's fine. Everybody needs more practice. We can all learn. We can all improve. Okay? Nobody's perfect. I'm not saying that anybody is perfect. But if you know you make some mistakes, then obviously there are ways to fix them. If you make a mistake, you have a strategy to fix them. Remember, all of these are bad habits, but we can have good habits, right? Active learning instead of passive learning. Instead of repetition and shadowing for everything, repetition and shadowing for specific things. Instead of memorizing lists, focus on memorizing and learning specific things. Instead of not learning the basics, reviewing the basics and making sure you can study them, right? Now, like our friend Alan was saying, tenses of the verbs, they are part of the basics and they are a whole other bad habit. Structure and grammar, all right? Structure and grammar. Obviously, learning structure and grammar is a good habit. The bad habit is that many people don't learn structure and grammar. Okay? So, like our friend Alan was saying, you should learn the verb tenses. You should learn grammar. And many of you were saying from the beginning about the basics that you should learn grammar. And that is so true. Okay? Guys, so many students I have, many of my students, they tell me, oh man, like I don't want to learn grammar. It's boring. And hey, I know that a lot of schools and a lot of teachers may have given you a bad experience learning English, right? Unfortunately, a lot of teachers and a lot of people teach English in a way that is not fun, that is not clear, and that is not so effective, right? And of course, my students unfortunately have to suffer because they had bad teachers when they were kids or when they were younger or when they were in university. And now they don't know about grammar or they don't know about structure. Guys, for syntax, structure, and for grammar, there is one golden rule. All right, one rule. And one rule will solve 90% of your problems. I swear. It is called the SVO rule. Now, I actually gave a class about the SVO rule in a past Cambly episode, and you can just go to our channel, search for the video, and check it out. Right? SVO. This is the most important rule of grammar. Like I said, it will solve 90% of your problems if you learn it correctly. But I swear, 90%. Imagine that. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't know what the SVO rule is. Do you guys know what the SVO rule is? Tell me, guys. I hope you do. But tell me. What do you guys think? Subject, verb, object. Yunerki says no. Kalipan was the one that said subject, verb, object. My dear student Kalipan. Do you guys agree? Could it be subject, verb, object? Is this correct? Is it something different? What do you guys think? What do you guys think about what Kalipan says? I'm going to give you guys a moment to think about it. Firdaus also says subject, verb, object. So you're thinking about it. Yeah. All right, I'll help you guys. Luan says, yes, never forget about that class. Good. Very good. Yes, Kalipan and Firdaus are correct. Subject, verb, object. This is the most important grammar rule in all of English. And like Luan says, she never forgets, or he never forgets. I'm sorry, I don't know. They never forget about that class. Wilson also says subject, verb, object. It's exactly what you're saying. Okay? It's one of the most important rules of structure and grammar. If you understand subject, verb, object, you will understand 90% of English structure and grammar. All you're going to need is to change some elements, but small changes, right? Now, for all those of you that haven't watched that class, please go watch that class. I really recommend it. Like I said, you can search for it on our YouTube channel. By the way, subscribe, give this video a like if you haven't already. But you will definitely find that video useful if you haven't seen it. All right, we're going to try to put a link in the description as well. Okay, to make sure that it's also easier to find if that's possible. But this is one of the most important things. And like we were saying, if you understand these basic rules, if you understand this grammar, it will be so much easier. Okay, so very good. Now we're on our last two tips, and then we will finish, and I will answer a few questions if we have time. All right, now the other major problem some people have is level choice. All right, level choice. What do you guys think? What is level choice? Tell me. Why do you guys think that I'm saying this is a bad habit? I'll wait for some answers, but tell me, guys, why is this a bad habit? Zhang says a lot of people say you don't need to focus on grammar and vocabulary. You just have 3,000 common vocabularies. You can speak very clearly and fluently. So Zhang, I know a lot of people say that, but I completely disagree. Like I was saying, that's not an effective way to learn. Most people cannot memorize 3,000 words easily. And in the English language, even if you have the right words, it doesn't mean your sentence is going to be correct. If you have the right words in the wrong order, it will be incorrect. For example, if you put the verb in the beginning or the object in the beginning, completely incorrect. If you forget to use the correct tense, completely incorrect, right? And that's what we were saying when I was talking about parroting. You shouldn't just repeat things because you think they're going to be good. You have to be really careful and understand them. So, like beginner, intermediate, and advanced level in English speaking. Yusuke says a beginner, intermediate, advanced. I am basic level. Sumo says I have bad habits. Yeah, well, we all do. Many of us want to learn a higher level than the right level we are. Exactly, Firdaus. Thank you. Exactly what he said. Many of us, I'm going to repeat it verbatim. Many of us want to learn a higher level than we are. Okay. And that's a bad habit, unfortunately. Now, I'll give this specific example. I am an advanced teacher. Okay. I teach advanced classes for professionals. I teach advanced classes for people who are doing academic research or who really need a very high level of English. So my classes are difficult. I know. My classes are designed to be advanced. My classes focus on very advanced vocabulary, advanced conversation and communication strategies, very specific strategies for pronunciation, and a long list of other things. But like I said, I am someone who specializes in advanced teaching. Okay. And unfortunately, I have a lot of students that come to me and they want to take my class, but they're very basic. Now, sometimes I can adapt to them and sometimes I can give a basic class. Sure, I can give a basic class. That is not a problem. But the problem is people think that by taking an advanced class, you will learn more or you will learn better. That's not true. People think that if you read an advanced book, you will learn more vocabulary. That's not true. People think that by watching an advanced movie or an advanced podcast or using advanced strategies, that will automatically make them learn more and sound better. But that is not true. Okay, you guys? It's so unfortunate, but it's the reality. We have to learn at a level that is correct for us. We cannot learn at a level that is higher, and we should not learn at a level that is lower. If we're trying to learn at a level that is lower, it may be good practice, but we're not going to get a lot of really effective new information. And of course, if we're going to try to study at a level that is higher, we are really not going to absorb the information effectively. We're just not going to understand. Okay. If you are a basic student, you should take a basic class, really. And this is not because you're not good, or this is not because you're not intelligent. No, no. It's just because if you're a basic student, you need basic strategies. When you learn the basic strategies, then you will be ready for more advanced strategies. All right. But you have to go step by step, or actually, you're going to miss a lot of things. There will be a lot of things that you don't know how to do or that you never learned how to do. You know, for example, do you guys drive? I asked that question earlier, I think, but do you guys have a car? Do you drive? Do you use a motorcycle? What do you guys think? Did you learn how to drive maybe, even if you don't use it every day? Tell me, do you guys drive or do you guys know how to drive? Right? Tell me, you guys in the chat. Yes, I drive, or no, I don't know how to drive. Yes, I have a car, or no, I don't have a car. Just tell me that, you guys. So Stacy says, no, I don't drive. Okay, good, good. Stacy's a great example. Yunirki says, yes, I have a car. It should be a car, by the way. Yusuke says, yes, I drive. Somebody else said, Nisse. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Sorry. Says, I drive every day. Sumo says, no driving. Essay says, no, I don't. All right. So this example is good for everybody, whether you drive or you don't drive. Stacy, Sumo, Binazir, you don't drive. Stacy, Sumo, Binazir, you don't drive. Imagine your first lesson driving was going to be in a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or a race car, like an F1 race car. What would happen? You would crash. If you get in a car that is too powerful, you're not going to drive well if you don't know how to drive, right? And for all the other people, say Junierkis, Yusuke, um, Parvina, all of you guys drive every day, right? So imagine that your first car was a super fast car. You wouldn't have learned very well. If you drive every day now, maybe you're ready for something faster. If you drive every day, maybe sometimes you go on a highway and you go very fast, and that's no problem, you know? But that's exactly the same as learning a language. If in your first day you try to go with the advanced levels, you're going to crash. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be effective. So your first attempt should be focusing on the basic things that you need. If you're a basic student, take basic classes. If you're an intermediate student, take intermediate classes. All of you guys are going to be advanced one day. Don't worry. If you follow the rules, if you follow a strategy, then you're definitely going to learn. And eventually, you will reach an advanced level. And when you reach that advanced level, you will be able to drive a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or whatever you want, and you will be able to speak super well. All right. So now, guys, we are more than 45 minutes in. I am going to leave you with the very, 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 very last bad habit. It's a very simple one, and we're not going to talk about it so much. I'm going to answer some questions, and then we're going to finish with our promo code. Remember, that will be up to 36% off on your Cambly plan if you sign up today. If you sign up today with that promo code, you will get an awesome discount, which means you will pay much less. Like I said, I think it's up to 36%. Okay. And you will be able to take classes with thousands of tutors all across Cambly, right? Maybe you've seen other tutors on here that you like. Maybe you liked me, and I hope you liked me. You could take a class with me on Cambly. I have met a few of you guys like Kalipan, who was wonderful. And some of you guys may have already taken my classes. So sign up to Cambly and you can take a class with me or with thousands of other tutors. Okay. But that way you will obviously learn in a one-on-one way, and you will definitely learn and improve your English skills. Now, the last bad habit, you guys, consistency. All right. Consistency, or rather lack thereof. Lack of consistency. All right. You guys, I think this is the golden rule, the most important habit to have. We have to be consistent, right? We have to be consistent. If we do not have consistency, it doesn't matter what we're trying to learn. English, driving, it could be engineering, software, it doesn't matter. Every single thing requires consistency, all right? If you do not have consistency, you will not be able to learn effectively. Instead of learning effectively, you're going to have a ton of gaps and you will not learn things well. So guys, that's what I'm going to leave you with. Make sure to be consistent. Make sure to practice all these good habits and not these bad habits, okay? Now, I have 1 or 2 minutes to answer some questions from you guys. Remember, I only have a short amount of time, so ask away. Try to keep it brief and, of course, English related. But tell me, you guys, what questions do you have? Vinita Singh says, I want to learn from you. Well, Vinita, you are in luck. If you sign up to Cambly, then you will definitely be able to take a class with me. Thank you, Kalipan. He says that he recommends that. But yeah, sign up to Cambly and you will be able to have a class one-on-one with me and with other tutors if you prefer. All right. And definitely, like I said, I will be happy to teach you. Any other questions, you guys? Nothing yet. Nothing yet. No, I believe there are no more questions. So guys, it was a really big pleasure, a huge pleasure to give you this class. Like I said, my name is Cuau. you can either follow the link in the description of the video, or you can just Google my name and my Cambly profile will appear right away. Oh, there are a few questions. Okay. So Stacy says, how can I practice listening actively? This is very good. So Stacy, listening actively just means that you're paying attention. That's it. Okay. It's not a complex or difficult thing. All you need to do is pay attention. Make sure that your attention is focused on what you're listening to. Okay. So, for example, if you're listening to a podcast, don't cook, don't drive, don't clean or do other things. Focus on the podcast or focus on the movie or whatever you want. Something I recommend, listen to these things in short segments, 5-minute segments, for example. That will make it a lot easier to practice your active listening. Okay. How often do you need to study to make progress? Juliet. So that really depends on the person. I know some people who are very lucky and who are very talented and they make progress very quickly. Some other people require more repetition, more practice. It really does depend on you. Personally, for example, a good rule of thumb for me is that if I want to learn a new skill within 1 year, let's say, I have to practice it at least 3 times a week. Okay. That is what I think is good for me, right? And what I think is good for many other people as well. So for you, it might be a little less or a little more, but I think that's a good average. So how do we effectively use Cambly? Takuya, that also depends on you. Cambly has a lot of tutors, thousands of tutors, and we have a lot of free educational material that is designed for people who are trying to learn English or practice English. And it depends on what level you're on. If you're a basic speaker or if you're a beginner, I would highly recommend that you use this material. All right, I would recommend that you use the Cambly lessons and you choose tutors that are focused on your level. All right, like I said, there are basic tutors, there are intermediate tutors, there are advanced tutors like me who focus on advanced topics. So choose the right person for you, choose the right material for you, and the right frequency for you, and all of that put together will help you a lot. Okay. So Kalipan, Cambly certificate is something that you get on Cambly by completing a certain amount of hours. If you have any questions about that, you can just write to the Cambly help desk. Koos says, asks an interesting question. I would never say I am fine. I would say no, thank you. In my opinion, saying I'm fine really doesn't answer the question. Like, for example, if you say, hey, do you want water? And someone says, I'm fine. Like, great, good for you. But do you want a glass of water or no? Usually that means no, right? I know. Usually that means no, but I would never say that. And I would never recommend saying that. So, all right. So, very, very, very good. Guys, that is the end of our lesson. Fly there. Thank you so much, guys. Like I said, my name is there. My name is in the description. Write to me or ask me any questions on my Cambly profile, and I will be happy to answer them. And I hope to see you there. Have a really, really good rest of the day. It was my pleasure. Like I was saying, my name is Cuau, and I hope to see you on the next one. All right? Take care, you guys. Bye-bye. Until next time. Bye, Kalipan. Thank you so much. I hope to see you soon, too. Bye, Wilson. Bye. Rubius, bye Takuya, bye Stacy, bye everyone. Take care, you guys. Have a great weekend. Thank you too, Nessa. Thank you, everybody. Bye. Thank you, Vinita. Thank you. Bye.